It's said that life is a journey best traveled with friends.
Along the way are adventures and misadventures. But if you're Ms. Mel's friend, you'll find some Ms. adventures.
Join Ms. Mel for misadventures with friends and explore the paths of friendship.
Welcome to you. I'm your hostess, Ms. Mel, and today on Misadventures with Friends, I'll be visiting with my friend, Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hey.
I'm so glad to have you here with us today and chatting. We are hanging out in our favorite coffee shop, one of our favorite coffee shops, and you may hear customers in the background. We're trying to do the best we can in our little room we're in, and I'll do my best to get all the echo out of here on the recording, because it does kind of sound like we're in a tunnel. So if I can't get all the tunnel sound out, folks, just enjoy being in the tunnel with us and being atmospheric with the sounds of the coffee shop. Yes, we do have our coffee. Yes, thank you. We're enjoying that. Kim and I go way back. I mean, we're talking decades. We can't exactly come to a conclusion as to how exactly long we've known each other, but probably from preschool.
Yeah, Ice Age.
Yeah.
I hear them
You're
jumping
the
out ice.
ice, so we're in the ice age. So we go back to the ice age. Watch out for the passing mastodon. Oh gosh. Yeah, long time. We've had and crossed paths periodically over the years,
And we're true Greenwoodians.
Yep, we hail from the same hometown, neighborhood on the other side of the tracks. You might have been on one side, I was on the other. I don't know, but either way, we always had to wait on a train to go by to get home.
Yep.
Oh goodness! But now we have reconnected for the last several years, just by attending the same church and having some adventures.
Mm-hmm.
We had some big adventures. Maybe we talk about one of our big adventures in a few minutes, but we'll just start with our general question that we normally ask everybody and say, Ms. Kim, how do you define friendship?
Well, let me think. How do I define friendship? I know Webster's defines friendship as being a friend, and that probably goes along with it. It's Scripture says that he who wishes to have friends must find himself friendly. So, in order to have friends, you have to be willing to be vulnerable and make friends. But it's being a friend is friendship.
You can't get any more precise than that. That's that really is it. That's being a friend. Being the friendly involves all kinds of things. So what would you let's expand a little bit on that word friendly. What does being friendly to someone mean?
Well, I think it means opening yourself up to be kind and generous with your time, your attention on someone else other than yourself. It's part of being friendly. It can be a hug or how are you doing? And really going a little deeper with someone that you consider a friend or you want to be a friend with.
Okay. Well, I would ask you to think back over your lifetime. Is there a favorite friend memory? Or you can look at it this way. Is there a favorite friend memory? Or is there a favorite friend memory that you feel comfortable sharing with us?
Yeah. I think my longest favorite friend memory would be my friend Brownie. I won't say her last name, but how many brownies do you know?
How many? I know a Pixie, and I'm not a brownie.
Well, I met Brownie in junior high school in 7th grade, and I was sitting on the front row, probably because Kim talks too much. And Brownie was in the back and passed a little note to me. And I had never met her, but she asked me if I would do a spend the night with her. And so I did. And it was pretty awkward and unusual, but we became instant friends from that time on. And we're still friends today.
Yeah. A lot of life shared.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of life shared. We have been on a mission trip together.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim has spent a lot of her years doing mission work, traveling to Costa Rica, involving herself in the lives of people there, and totally different culture. How do you adapt to developing friendships when you not only encounter different culture in the United States, but when you actually go into another country? How do you develop friendships when you've got language barriers and cultural differences?
Yeah, that's a great question, Miss Mel. But I think friendship is deeper than all of that. God made all of us in His image, and whether we are from a different culture or language, now the language barrier can be very difficult to, have a conversation if you don't have a translator. But I have good friends all over the world. I feel like because that's not a barrier. When you really want to get to know someone, you will do what it takes to get to know them. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I just, have, I guess, some friends you would consider more acquaintances, but, I do have closer friends who are from different cultures as well.
That you have done mission trips and we go to church together. So faith is a big element of our lives. How do you make friends with someone that may not share your ideas on faith or on values, morals?
Mm-hmm.
You make friends with people like that, and what kind of approach would you take? Now I know Kim can talk to anybody. There's nothing shy about this lady. She can talk to anybody. But how do you go about developing a friendship, or think about maybe someone that you have developed a friendship with that there were these differences? Tell us about that process.
Mm-hmm. I really believe that God, He directs us in those circumstances when people are different than us, but if they share a different belief system than I do. I recently have felt like there's someone that I could literally be best friends with, and we don't share that same belief system, but it's such a God thing. I feel like God is like giving me opportunities to do kind things for this person, and it's just constant. It's really like every week I think of something else I can do for them, and we get along, and we do have a lot of the same ideas, even though I'm not sure if this person is a Christ follower yet.
It's not an easy task. It's just simply put, it would be easier to not try to befriend someone that doesn't line up with all the things that we believe, all the things that I believe, all the values and the morals and things that I adhere to. That's just about as difficult as going backwards to friendships that you had in high school or college or young adulthood and saying, I don't think the way I did then. So could we get along now? Can we still be friends?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tough little thing to try to unravel,
Mm-hmm.
but it does take patience. And it takes the basics of being friendly,
Mm-hmm.
which kindness, compassion,
Mm-hmm.
a listening ear whenever
Mm-hmm.
you're available, being aware of the differences and seeing those inroads
Mm-hmm.
to developing that friendship,
Yeah, absolutely.
despite the
Yeah.
differences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's pretty tough, but pretty fun when it
Mm-hmm.
clicks.
Mm-hmm.
When something clicks. Well, if you had to say how many friend groups you have, Kim, do you just lump all your friends in one group, or do you have church friends, or work friends, or other grandma friends, or how do your friends? We talk about friends. We lump all our friends together in a social media
Mm-hmm.
pile, and then you look at that list. Sometimes you're like, okay, I know you from here and you from here, and you start categorizing
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
your friendships.
Yeah, honestly, I would say 90% of my friends are from church, but that's kind of our life being in ministry. And it's kind of cool because even though I was born in Greenwood and have lived here all my life, pretty much, we lived in North Carolina for a while. I do have my Asheville friends. But they were from the church my husband was a pastor in Asheville. But here, our church is full of transplants, and I always wanted to meet a lot of different people from different places, and I find it pretty funny. Other than you, I don't know a lot of people, and we have that in common because we are from Greenwood, but most people are from other places. I have like pickleball friends and and
That's a good category.
I play cards with a group of friends that are different than the pickleball friends, and then you can't be the model for friendship to me is Jesus, and he was closer to two or three people. Let's see, Peter, James, and John. I couldn't get it out. Peter, James, and John. And then he had 12 disciples. And then he loved everybody.
Mm.
And that's my model. Sometimes it can be lonely when you have a lot of different friend groups because you don't have that specific, like, best friend. And I don't have a specific best friend. But I do believe I'm doing what God wants me to do. I have an accountability group. And that's 4 friends that we meet for prayer and accountability. And so it's finding people who are looking for what you're looking for in a friendship. And it's not always the same.
I'm going to assume that all your friendships are perfect, on the level, easy to get along with. But what about that friendship that starts to be draining? How do you handle that?
I don't know. Like let me think through this because I can't think of a friendship right now that's been draining. I'm sure there have been in the past, but I can think of friendships that went south, and even 2 right now that I don't know what happened. But if you've heard the term ghosting, that's what it feels like won't answer my text, and things like that. And that is pretty painful in a friendship. But who knows why? Like God does. And so you try to believe that God knows also what's best for you.
You're listening to Misadventures with Friends.
Once you've lived as long as we have, you've had various stages of life. There've been highs and been lows. There've been long stretches, short stretches. How has your perspective on friendship changed over the years?
Yeah, I realize in any relationship actually that I'm accountable for myself. Like, and sometimes if I get like really expectations on other people, then, that doesn't go well. So even just recently I've been thinking about friendship probably for, how old am I? 55 years. But, I do think about it a lot. And I want to make sure that mostly that my friendships are pleasing to God. And so I've also, like, through the years, been able to adapt to so many different kinds of groups. Like in high school, I hung out with the popular crowd, the unpopular crowd, the wild crowd, the nerdy crowd. I mean, I just kind of bounced all over the place. And I think in some ways there's not a lot of stability in that. So I am one that will reach out and say, you know what, I need this type of friendship. And it could be an accountability group, which I did. I reached out to a couple of friends, and actually one friend, and I said, I really need accountability. I need someone that when the bottom drops out, I'm not just out here, Lone Ranger, but there are people that we are meeting on an ongoing basis. Because it's great to have a lot of different friends, but you've got to have some friends that you're connected with them. And so instead of like feeling sorry for myself, like I started feeling really sorry for myself, I decided I'm going to reach out. And when I did, the person I met with said that they wanted to meet too. And then they suggested someone else. And then I had someone else in my mind. So there's 4 of us. We really just started this last month. And we meet every other week, and we share what's going on in our lives, and we pray for one another. I've had that on and off through the years, but I really believe that it's necessary to have that consistency. And without that consistency, you can get in a really lonely place, and our minds can think nobody cares about me. Yeah.
Everybody's entangled in their own life issues, good and bad, and we do tend to isolate ourselves, especially if we think everybody else has got it together, and we don't. And I think you're right that accountability is terribly important to keep us from doing that, from sinking into that kind of a situation. I was going to ask you what, you've raised your children, and now you have grandchildren coming out your ears. And
Understatement,
yes. I get to love on them when they come through the nursery at church. And, I was going to say, what advice would you give to let's start with a younger generation. What advice would you give to a younger generation about developing friendships? Would it be exclusively that idea of be accountable, have accountability, or would you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's really important to have people that you can know and they know you. And it does take like some time and effort to find those people, because not everybody wants to reveal to you everything about themselves. But I think it's extremely crucial in your walk of faith. And, I was thinking about the group I'm meeting with, and, maybe they won't listen to this, or maybe I may find out that we don't want the same thing, and that's okay. But there are people who really want that kind of accountability. But the younger generation, I would say, yes, you need that, but the gospel message is all inclusive. You don't leave people out. And so, yes, you should have close friends, but I have tried to teach my children this. Don't let anyone walk in a room and not have anybody to talk to. Like, you go up to that person. It may be awkward, but the gospel of friendship to me is Jesus included everyone. And so when a friendship is unhealthy, I'll tell younger people this, is when you are so stuck to one person that you won't let anybody else in. And it's obvious, like, when you're around people, they feel like they don't fit, or they might feel rejected by your exclusivity. And so, yeah, I mean, it's funny, but that starts in elementary school. And this is my best friend, and I have no other, And so that's unhealthy. It's not wrong to have a best friend, but it's how you actually manage that with other people.
Good word. Yes, that's very good insight into that. All right, that younger, you addressed younger. Your mom's still with you. What would you say to older people, older than us? And there are still some older than us out there.
Pre-Ice Age.
Pre-Ice Age. Oh gosh.
Whoa.
What would you say to that? Because I have a particular reason for being interested in friendships of older people, and I have friends that are older than me. My friends group my broader friends group goes from 20s to 80, and I have particular interest in what's going on. Maybe it's because I'm getting, I'm rapidly headed that direction of being on the upper scale of the lifeline. Speak to that. Speak to that older person that's asking about friendship.
Yeah, and I'm witnessed this where older people can feel like they don't have friends. Maybe many of their friends have passed away, but you're never too old to make a friend. And it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, you can make a friend, but you might have to be the one who initiates that friendship. And I think a lot of older people are just waiting for someone else to initiate. And someone else wants a friend just as much as you do. So someone has to initiate, right?
Yeah.
To be a friend, to have friends, you must find yourself friendly.
That's almost like our tagline: make a friend and be a friend, or be a friend and make a friend. One or the other. I got it laid out somewhere. It takes effort. Anything else you'd like to share with us, Kim, about friendships and friends in general, or got any funny stories you can tell us, make us laugh about your friends, and then we'll make sure they don't listen?
Well, I think the cutest thing in my life lately is pickleball, and so I've yes, we have prayed before we played pickleball, but played pickleball a few times with this group of friends, and it's so much fun, and we laugh a lot. I mean, I think you can have friends that share some of the same interests, and you enjoy some of the same things, and then, oh my gosh, playing cards, it's just another venue of laughter. I was looking at this question, the opinion of friendships with the opposite sex. I could say something about that. Yeah, I really have some good friends that are of the opposite sex, but that is usually we're friends with the couple. Like David and I are friends with Monica and Brent, and Brent is one who is like a brother to me, really. more like a brother than a friend, actually, because we, laugh a lot and pick on each other a lot. I do think in opposite sex friendships, you have to be careful though. I am old school about this. Like, I don't think you need to go out to dinner with male friends if you're a female or vice versa. I've just seen some bad things come of that, or some temptations come of that with other people. So you have to have that boundary, I believe, there. And maybe that's something good for younger people to hear. Just keep a boundary there. Have good friends that are couples, or maybe someone you cut up with at church or do ministry with. It's different than just like developing a friendship that could lead into something else. So have discernment and boundaries with that.
That particular issue often comes about with friendships that develop with like interests or in the workplace. A phrase I despise to hear is when people talk about in their workplace, they have their office wife or their office husband, and the commonality of working together and seeing each other daily, you do tend to develop friendships. And if you do not have a mindset of setting boundaries, you end up in circumstances where you overshare, you expose your own emotions. And that happens not just in the office, that can happen in a group of people in any place, it can be a church situation. It can be a youth group situation. It can be a place where if you're not setting those boundaries, things can escalate and escalate rapidly.
Yes.
But that's not to say you can't have friends, that are of the opposite sex. It's just the old adage of there's safety in numbers.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
And having lots of friends. Now, do some of those friends sometimes develop into deeper relationships? Yeah, but when you're single, allowing them to go beyond a camaraderie into a deeper relationship when you're married or committed to someone else, that is a red flag.
Yes.
Yeah. And it takes, that's where that other group, that other friend group of accountability comes in and can help work through that. And if any of our listeners, if you find yourself in a situation like that where your friendship with someone of the opposite sex is becoming a red flag, or maybe trying to enter into a dangerous territory, please seek somebody out to talk to about that. Maybe not another coworker or someone else in your group, but someone older than you, someone who has some counseling training maybe. If you're in a church situation, definitely go to your counselors there at church and talk with them and work through that. Let's find out why you are drawn to that person. What is it about that friendship that makes you want to take it further than just a camaraderie? You can never have enough friends, so don't try to isolate yourself with just one or two people. As Kim and I have talked, we both have several different friends groups, and each one of them is quite special.
Yes.
and sometimes it gets hard to juggle them.
It does.
It's like, okay, but what would we do without our friends?
Yeah.
What would I do without Kim as my friend?
I know. or just seeing this lovely face across from me, Melody.
There's a portrait on the wall behind me.
No.
Or she's looking at the picture of the dog on my phone.
No. And I do want to tell a story that I think
please
might
do.
encourage people. Years ago, I think it was about over 20 years ago. I had a close friend, and someone came into the church actually that really started to talk bad about my friend to me and vice versa. And I got caught up in a conversation that actually got used against me. And this is a warning because, like, Scripture says that a gossip separates close friends. And thank the Lord, we ended up having a meeting, David and I did, with the woman who had started these things and our friend. And I thought this other woman, who was a new friend, was my friend. And she disclosed some things that I had said in that meeting to this friend. And I was weeping because I would have never said that to her face, ever. And but I had said it. So I also know that confession is really important for healing. And so, I mean, the only alternative was to lie. So I had to tell the truth.
Right.
And this woman never admitted her part in it or anything she said. But I did, and I want to say that to this day, that's one of my closest friends, the one that I said something about. And so friendship, like you said, Mel, it is up and down. It is learning to forgive and receive forgiveness, and that makes a strong friendship. So I believe, without a doubt, the bond of that friendship will never be broken. And it was overwhelming how much she forgave me. The other person left the church and had business elsewhere to do. And so it was like, be aware of that there is an enemy at work in friendship too. But that was like, I've never forgotten how she forgave me and how, like, there's so much love there between us now. Even more love than back then.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. That's a good thing to remember, that is part of friendships, is that ability to be honest, ability to forgive, because we're all just stinky old humans, and we're gonna just mess up all the time as it is. I think the key word that I have gleaned from our conversation has been the idea of setting boundaries. Boundaries that define what we want in a friendship. Know what you want out of a friendship. Boundaries for involving ourselves in the lives of people that may or may not agree with what we agree with. What are your boundaries on that? Setting your boundaries with people of the opposite sex. Setting boundaries that allow that friendship to grow, but not get out of control. So there's a lot wrapped up in the idea of friendships and boundaries, not boundaries to keep others out and grow as walls, but boundaries that can grow and flex and move as we move, grow as we grow, but define what our expectations are for friendship, what our limitations are for friendship. So that's good stuff, Kim. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm thankful for our friend Miss Kim being with us and chatting with us today and sharing another misadventure with me.
My pleasure.
Maybe we'll get back and chat again another day later on and add to the conversation. I'm sure the wheels will be turning.
Yes.
So thank you, friends, old and new, for journeying with us. Give us a thumbs up and become our friend on Facebook and Instagram. Now we want you to go make a friend and be a friend. Thank you, Miss Kim.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Bye.
For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness. And for poise, walk with the knowledge that you are never alone. Audrey Hepburn.
Misadventures with Friends is a production of Depot Street Studios and Rocket 88 Broadcasting. Music is from Storyblocks.com.